something like that, like, oh, if you don't have this, you shouldn't play this. I get that. I get that. You know, like when we look at, you know, some of my blue decks, you know, there are 4 forces. I guess my approach to modern is just so different than his. Like you can adjust it to however you feel the meta is like. Hate it when people tell me I should be playing X cards. My deck is inferior. That's kind of what I was. It felt condescending almost, you know. But yeah, I mean, for Legacy, like, you know, or Vintage even, you know, a lot of people would argue that I don't have the cards for Vintage, yet we win plenty. You're playing green, you should be playing Goyf. I had a nickel every time. Are you kidding me? Goyf isn't a green card. That joke's overused, but it's true. Goyf's not a green card. What happened, says Romario? I was just commenting about something I heard on the, you know, like, I mean, I think that some of my Legacy decks are optimized, but I would say that my Vintage deck is not. It's missing 2 pieces of power, minimum. But it's still a blast to play, and it still wins games all the time. I mean, we just won a game when we played this the other night, right? We were playing against Mentor Control. And, you know, the Sulfur Elemental, it can come up. It's probably one of the best answers you can have to the Mentor. These are 1s, those are 0s. These are 1s, these are my 1s. These are 2s. Punishing Fire, I would argue, almost feels like a 3, though, to get the recurring out of it. Forces are ideally 0. Digs, 2. This is 1. These, a lot of the time in this deck, are 0. Honestly, a lot of the time, if I'm on the play, I will Chalice on 0. Pretty much every deck right now is running power. Like this type, you know, Moxen, Lotus. Pretty much every deck has adapted that in Vintage. I think it's okay when people suggest to play different cards. Yeah. I don't know, Romario. It's tough. It's tough. Welcome, though. Good to have you here. I played Bant Flicker and Goyf with 0 synergy. But it's a big dude. I bet that's what they tell you, right? But it's a big creature. You should run it. It's big. And you're green. I bet that's what they say. Something like that. I kind of want to play Ralzerator again. We stopped playing it. I kind of missed the deck. I missed Chalice and Chains. Where did we leave off? The last version had cut the red. I missed the red. Could we take this another direction? I miss playing this deck. I don't own the extra. We were borrowing that. We had to get it back. The guy who we were borrowing it from wanted it back. Let's take this in another direction. I miss the red splash, even though it was greedy. I miss running Ralzeric in this list. I do. He was kind of where I started with the Stasis deck all that time ago, right? You're playing blue, so why no Serum Vision? Consequently, I already had Serum Vision, so that wasn't a problem for me, card availability-wise, but I see what you're saying. So what can we do? I bet there's some cool things we could do. What if we took out the Crucible package and instead went with, Gender bent Ralzer. What are you talking about? Different decks is kind of mad. If you're clearly playing a brew, then you don't want to play tier 1, says Romario. And Romario, you might share the opinion that Brad Nelson did when we started this debate. You kind of missed that comment. But you might be of that camp, and that's okay. I'm not trying to say you're wrong and I'm right. Neither of us, you know. Wrong and right are actually just a matter of perspective. Unless we're talking mathematics, it's pretty written in stone. There might be different ways to get through a particular equation to a particular answer, but the answer should be the same. Okay. We're gonna figure this out. The Ralph's lyrics. Let's bring it back. Or did I remember to open a new copy? Fudge. I didn't, did I? Oops. Before we mess this up anymore, hang on. Mistake. I do want to keep this blue-black version because I think it was probably one of the least unique variants of the deck I built yet. Since I think I should just main deck the Jace. Or maybe a Lodestone. Lodestone? I don't know. Oh, that's still too many in the main. Could be a sideboard card. It's not good in every matchup. Same with Lodestone. Let's go. Okay, so we'll leave it like this for version 4.2. I'm going to open a new copy. Do I ever take chat suggestions and build? Oh, all the time, Ember. All the time, man. Heard he was being a tad hyperbolic. The heart of the Jund deck is very much Liliana. It's designed to grind one for one's pull ahead. The deck can be played without it, but it won't be as good. He's going in the same deck. Okay, so we open a new copy. Because I like some of the things that the blue-black variant, when we were playing Chalice and Chains 4.2, I liked some of that, but other aspects of it I didn't like. So let's see if we can't consolidate. Because we weren't stasis locking as much, right? The RAL version, although it had some... how do I put it? It had some... It needed some. I think it could be interesting to suggest a card, see where you take it compared to where we would. Oh, all the time, man. Yeah, go ahead and suggest cards, Ember, and if I think we can do it, I'm happy to brew for you guys. You know, once I was commissioned, there was a guy who like legitimately said, "I will donate you some money to your stream." He was like, "I'll give you like $5 or $10 in donation if you take the time to brew a deck for me. I want to build a deck around such and such, or I want a deck for Modern." And I did that. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I think I was running 3 RALs maximum. Yeah, and then I was thinking deck fading. So yeah, and then you get one more slot. You could just main deck the Jace. Just have a plethora of Planeswalkers to win with game 1. Let's curve it out and see where everything falls. Like, do I still want the Thopter combo? I didn't used to have it in the deck, but maybe I do want it again. Zeros, essentially. Yeah, I was thinking I would cut the Crucible waste and go with Grixis instead. And maybe the Tabernacle's so good with Stasis, though. I don't think we can cut it. Just, the potential there is just... I'm gonna cut this, though, because it's greedy. It's not that we don't need it, I want to see what the deck looks like without it. And then maybe you main deck Jace? Maybe you main deck a Lodestone? SCG normally provides this card, says Urza. Right, it might just be a differing... He might have a different perspective due to that. That's very true. That's very true. Now, if we're going to cut the Crucible, then the Buried Ruin becomes a lot weaker. I don't even know if I'd run it anymore. Call me crazy. Because Because I can't set up Intuition into Ensnaring Bridge no longer. Well, no, I still can. I could go Intuition into Tezzerets or Intuition into Transmute Tezzeret. It would likely just be Intuition into Tezzeret. Then Tezzeret minus for Bridge. Just still a lot of mana, although this deck puts out a reasonable amount. Something that I've missed in this list is the fast mana. The good fast mana. I don't think this definitely isn't. This would be a Mox Diamond. It would be a Mox Diamond deck. So by that juncture, I don't even know if I necessarily want the questioning the number of Flusterstorms. One of these is actually borrowed, so technically I really should only run a maximum of 3 Flusters. It's 18. I don't think the Abyss and Nether Void do enough anymore. That feels more correct. Let's get some Mox Diamond up in here. 3. He was during a deck tech. It was during a deck tech. It was actually earlier today. We have to make some more cuts. Deck techs? I think so. Could trim on the Strix. So a lot of the time, one Strix isn't going to be enough. You probably have to Ensnaring Bridge. Anyway. I think it's good filler. I think it's good filler. But how much filler do you have room for? Like, the first thing that I really missed about the Grixis variant was my quote-unquote Trump card for the Show and Tell and Storm matchups. Let's see. New Volcanic. To start. That's a good start. Okay, and one more land. So we got a Volk, 2 Underground Sea. I like Tabernacle because we're Mox Diamond. So let's see. 23 lands. Maybe I'm supposed to put another fetch. I have one more blue fetch on Moto. So 24 land and then 3 Mox. I could have 4 Mox if I just trimmed the Strix just to a tutor target. I'm trying to think of some board states where I'd want the Strix instead of the Bridge, though. It could come up. Were you Tezzeret -2 instead of Tezzeret -3? Because maybe you're not ready for Bridge, maybe you're not below the Bridge yet. Zacchaeus! Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Game Special. Appreciate it. Welcome to the team. Or are you just better off running an extra stasis? That's the question. That is the question. I think this is a good start.